I've been struggling with perfectionism for years. It's been something that's really been limiting me from taking action, doing stuff when, yeah, the conditions aren't perfect, the stars aren't aligned, I don't know enough, I'm not good enough, I haven't read enough, I haven't done enough. There's people who have done more than me. And the interesting thing, I think, is that these things are just thoughts in my mind that, oh, I can't do it, I don't know enough, all that stuff. And it's really easy to, or I've been stuck in a place where I really believe it to my fullest that this thing is actually true. And lately I've come across Byron Katie's work. It's called The Work. And it's about questioning the thoughts in our minds and really seeing, um, are they true? And is there another way of thinking about it? And kind of the premise is that all suffering and all kind of feeling bad comes from thoughts. And I felt like that's crazy. How can that be true? But I've tested it for myself and I find it true right now. And I figured this thing with perfectionism is still something that I haven't really beaten to its fullest extent. And I figured that as a fun exercise, because I've done quite a bit of Byron Katie's work, I figured I'll do it right now in front of the camera and just see where we land. It's going to be a way for you to see how the process works. Every time I've taken the time to sit down, do the work, ask these 4 questions in a turnaround that I'll show you, it's made all the difference in the world for me. And I figured, why not just do it? And this is work I want to do for myself. So it's very egotistical. But also I mean, it's such a relief to not believe those things that constrain what you feel you can or cannot do in the world. So let's do the work. So a few of the thoughts that I wrote down are, I need to make it perfect. And another thought that came up is like, perfectionism or perfection exists. That it even exists is kind of an interesting thing, that I can make it perfect. And then I need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. And that's, I mean, what we're doing right now. That's been something that's been limiting me from creating videos because I have felt like, oh, I need to make it great or I need to make it really good for it to be valuable for somebody else. So that's also actually a thought I could write down in a question. I need to make it great, it to be useful some else. So the way the process works is I have here a few beliefs or thoughts, and I ask myself 4 questions, and then I do turnarounds for these thoughts. So let's dive into it. The first question is it true? I'll start with, I need to make it perfect. I'll think specifically about, say, for example, this YouTube video. I need to make it perfect. Is that true? Obviously, no. It doesn't need to be perfect. The second question is kind of just the same question repeated again, just to make sure that I've really thought about it in here and taken the time. Katie says this is an exercise in stillness, of really feeling, is this statement, I need to make it perfect, is that really true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? And what comes up for me when I think about is it true and can I absolutely know that it's true, is that it's almost this thing that perfection doesn't even exist. Like perfection according to who? Who's setting the bar for what's perfect or not? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to say that it's perfect, or like, is even a Hollywood movie perfect? Isn't there always some mistake, some blooper, something that didn't go according to plan? And shouldn't they release a blockbuster movie just because it has a mistake? Of course, it's not true. So, and for me, creating a a YouTube video where I have, at the time of this recording, I have 25 subscribers. I mean, I could fit them in my apartment. That would be a pretty fun party. Um, yeah. So saying that I need to make it perfect, that's kind of okay, who cares? I mean, it's not, right now nobody's watching, so no. I don't need to be. I know don't need to make it perfect. And the second or the third question is, how do I react? What happens when I believe that thought? When I believe the thought, I need to make it perfect. Well, I don't take action. I shrink down. I don't do what I could do. Um, yeah. I play life on a smaller stage. I don't go for it. So that's an interesting one. Who would I be without the thought I need to make it perfect or perfection exists? I'd be much more inclined to take action and actually go for it, because I know that whatever I do, it can't be perfect. So I might as well just do something. Maybe I'll learn something. I might make it better over time. Who would I be without the thought I need to make it perfect? I'd be more relaxed, I could relax into creation. Yeah. And then turn it around, turnarounds. Try to find 3 turnarounds, like basically opposites. So one turnaround is, I don't need to make it perfect. Can I feel how that's as true or even more true than I need to make it perfect? I don't need to make it perfect. Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like I said, of course I don't need to make it perfect. It can't be perfect. So how could it? How could I make it perfect? Um, see if I can see another turnaround. I mean, another turnaround is that perfection exists and perfection doesn't exist. And I mean, that could also be true. How could that be as true? I mean, perfection is just a kind of image of image in our minds of how we think it could be. So it's not really something that can be, it's just something in our minds. Stuff can always be different and other, and what's perfect for me might not be perfect to somebody else. So who am I to kind of define perfection? That's kind of meaningless. And another turnaround that is kind of a turnaround of the turnaround is that, of course, perfection exists. It's what we have already. What we have is perfection. How is that true? I mean, suffering exists. People die. People have diseases. Those are not nice. But they are the way they are. And of course, we can work to make them better. But I don't know if the thought of seeing that gap between where it is and where it could be, if that's just creating suffering inside of me, and then, I don't know. That's a tricky one, I think. I can move on. I mean, I think the interesting thing here, what I'm taking out of this perfection thing, is that now, having questioned these thoughts, the next time they come up in my mind, I'm less inclined to believe them. Like, believe that, okay, I'm in a new situation where I'm kind of hindering myself because I think I need to make it perfect. But then I remember, does perfection even exist? Or perfect for whom? That's the power I've experienced with this work before. I'll move on to this one. I need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. Is that true? I mean, feels pretty easy right now, actually, that no, it's not true. I mean, you watching this video know things that I don't, and I know things you don't, probably. And if you don't, then don't stop watching these videos. Please don't waste your time. Um, Wasting time, is that possible? Uh, it's possible to waste your time. Is that true? That's another one, maybe for another video. But I need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. Is that true? Can I absolutely know that that is true? No, I can't. So how do I react? What happens when I believe that thought that I need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube? Well, I'm not sharing. So I'm not likely to find out. When I believe that thought, then I close myself. I don't live the life that I want to live. I don't do anything. So who would I be without the thought? Freer to pursue my dreams, freer to do what I want, to maybe there's one thing that I share that's useful for somebody. And if it's useful for somebody, that's good enough for me. So I hope any of this is useful for you. I need to make it great for it to be useful for somebody else. Oh, I forgot the turnarounds. But yeah, okay, so I'll turn it around. I need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. I don't need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. Or I know enough to share what I'm learning on YouTube. I mean, I want to be transparent with this is just my thoughts. This is what I'm learning. It doesn't have to be valuable to you. If you like it, if other people like it, then you'll watch it. You'll maybe like or you'll subscribe, and that will tell the YouTube algorithm that this is something that people like you find valuable, and then it can spread to other people. But who am I to know if it's valuable for you? There's been so many occasions where I've listened to somebody on a podcast or in a video or in a course or something, and they've said something that's made it click for me. And I've accumulated a lot of those clicks that have really made my life significantly better, and I feel so much happier as a person than I used to do as growing up and everything. So yeah, I don't need to know more to share what I'm learning on YouTube. I need to make it great for it to be useful for someone else. Is that true? Is that really true? Can I absolutely know that it's true that I need to make it great for it to be useful for someone else? Well, the temptation, of course, is like, oh, I want to make every video my magnum opus. I want to make it so good that they can't ignore you, like the famous book is called. But there's been so many things that somebody's shared with me, and as long as the thought is useful, then it doesn't need to be doesn't need to be great in the delivery, doesn't need to be perfect in the delivery. As long as the idea is communicated and in a respectful, well, I don't, yeah. As long as the idea is communicated, it doesn't need to be great. There's plenty of stuff that's honestly not done with a lot of care and attention, seemingly. Um, and that people find useful. So who am I to judge? Again, who am I to judge what's useful or not for somebody else? I can just do my bit to put stuff that I think have been useful for me out there. And maybe somebody who's also on the journey, maybe you who's also on the journey with me, we're on this journey together. Um, Maybe you find it useful. And I hope you do. How do I react? What happens when I believe the thought that I need to make it great for it to be useful for somebody else? How do I react? Well, I overthink things. I procrastinate. I wait too long with doing something. I think I miss opportunities to share stuff that could be good, but I filter myself because it's probably not something that is going to be good enough to be worth sharing. Of course, I want to keep making stuff better and I want to get to the point faster. I want to help people get the point, or get use out of the stuff that I'm sharing faster. But for me to do that, I need to practice, and no practice is better than just doing it and getting it out there. Who would I be without the thought I need to make it great for it to be useful for somebody else? Well, I just had the perfect moment of running out of battery in my iPhone that's filming the above view, and of filling my little memory card on my camera. So that's just perfect example of stuff not being great, stuff not working out as you wish. Um, so I'll get back to it now that I've emptied my card and I've put a charger on my phone. Who would I be without the thought I need to make it great for it to be useful for somebody else? I'd be more willing to just take action and go for it. It's kind of the same theme on all these. So I guess they're just they're different angles on the same thing. Just really, well, anywho, turn it around. I don't need to make it great for it to be useful for someone else. How is that as true or truer than the original statement? Well, yeah, there's plenty of stuff that's not great, but that is useful. So I've seen it in other places, so there's evidence for it. And I can't feel it. It doesn't need to be. Another turnaround that's kind of interesting is I need to make it great for it to be useless for someone else. Actually, if I portray if I portray some unattainable idea of perfection, then it might actually be less useful for somebody because it's not something that you can relate to. I can feel that with people who are like so on top of the mountain that kind of their advice or whatever they're talking about is just like feels out of reach. But yeah, their content might be great, but I might be like, ah, it doesn't really apply to me because I'm not at that level. So I need to make it great for it to be useless for someone else. That's that actually gives me kind of chills to think about. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this video together now. Um, get it out to you. Maybe you'll see it, and you'll find it not great, but hopefully useful. See you later. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit closer, buddy.